UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, former NFL quarterback.
29-year-old Sean Salisbury, his second start as a National Football League quarterback.
All right, guys, welcome into Unpaved. I'm Sean Segs and JB. JB will be along in just a second. Bring Adam Sager in as well. Listen, we're at a time. Well, Segs, first off, well, let me get to you in just a second. I want to hear about your kids' weekend. I know you had some sporting events going on with your kids, but I'm thinking about this weekend. My guy, Ludwig Oberg, I told you he was my guy with a three-stroke lead, and dude, Snappy Tom into the water, back-to-back holes. And then Cam Young only hits a 375 on the most important drive of his life and had a little flip wedge in there, and then makes two putts for the win. And Matt Fitzpatrick was awesome. We had that. Our pitching staff, I say ours like I was in the dugout competing, but USA, take pride in it, was lights out, you know, at the end when you go, what, Bedard, Whitlock's off the charts, dude. And I had to slide in a little Red Sox, but dude, he is nasty. Yes. And then Mason Miller blinks his way to $1.02. It's crazy. And
you know, he had his ERA in college was like over 8. It was like
I don't know how anybody hit it.
Mason Miller. And then they,
it's
just adjustments they make in the pros that people know what they're talking about instead of going to college. If you can go to the pros right away, go to the pros right away.
Yeah, no doubt. He pumps it. He's topped out, I think, $104 at one point in time, but he sits at a 101, 102. And then, dude, when he got Perdomo on the Uncle Charlie, the hook, and boom, it might have been a little low, but I'm going to live with it cross the strike zone inside the square. But the great pitch on a 3-2 count, Segs, too, when he desperately needed it. And everybody's thinking he's going to pump 103 or 102 until he gets off there. But incredible game, great pitching. Yeah. It lived up to it. That's the way it's supposed to end, with good hitting. Tatis coming to the plate, and that group in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the USA moves on, which is pretty friggin' awesome. We got Josh Johnson, who's on his 47th team. Good for him. We'll get to that, Segs, in the show. Play as long as if they got to drag you off the field. You can. There's no job you're going to get that's going to pay you what you're making now in that, and I don't have a problem.
Keep getting that back check.
You ain't lying, brother. And then that post-retirement check's going to be nice too, when his severance pay and all that stuff for, at the end of his career comes in, where his retirement comes in. So good on him. And Fields hasn't played for that many teams, but Justin Fields is about to embark on a new experience. We'll get to all that. Let's bring in JB. Segs, before we do, tell JB too, what happened, how to go with your kids' weekend on the mound and the rest of it this weekend, bud?
Champions. They came back champions out of, I think it was 15 teams. So, yeah, went out there, played well, and one son had, a couple good base hits, couple doubles, and the other son threw a couple no-nos. Complete game in the championship. No hits.
Nice. Because in Major League Baseball, we'd have pulled him out after 5 1/3.
Right. Yeah.
So good on him. Yeah. So do they get rings? Our guy Brian LaLima, every time he'd come back, because he coaches, the travel teams and the elite squads. And Brian, he'd come back after a chip, and they say, "You guys get a new ring?" Yeah, another new ring. They give you a ring away, man? Is that what they're doing?
This one was a medal. So this one was a medal. They got like a square medal. I haven't even looked at it, but they got some rings in the past, and
just keep chalking those chips. Hey, if you ain't winning chips, don't bring your ass back to this show. Okay.
We were at a place. Yeah, we were at a place in Bettendorf, Iowa. It's one of those complexes, indoor complexes, has 2 baseball fields. It's on top of a soccer field, so they can play soccer in there too. You could probably throw football in there if you wanted. The other side's all volleyball courts and basketball courts, so you can do all the AAU travel volleyball stuff. They have a bowling alley. They have an arcade.
Facilities. Yep.
And it's $25 a person to walk in for the weekend. Do you imagine how much money they're fucking making at these places?
Oh, yes, I do. Can I? I show up at them. Wait till you get to those trials thing where there's 80, 90 teams at a tournament, and they're using those big sports complexes. So, yeah, see them all. Adam G. Sager on Twitter, @TheRealCoach_JB. I'm Sean Unfiltered. JB, welcome in on a Monday. We got so much to cover, including, Segs, your team's the #1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I love March for obvious reasons, and the Pisces groups, JB, whether it's late February, early March, or all the way through March. Augusta's coming. Baseball's here, the World Baseball Classic, spring training, the college basketball tournament, which I can't wait for. Michigan, Duke, Florida, Arizona, your #1 seeds. We'll get to that. But JB is part of that. Alabama's going to the tournament. And one of their players, and Segs will read all that, but I don't even care about who the player is. We'll get to that shortly. What's your thoughts on weed and current players? I know a lot of post players. I'll be one. I've used gummies and will once in a while. I've had 12 surgeries, and sometimes whether it's your back or neck where I've had surgery or knee, it just helps you get to sleep a little bit. And whether you guys do what you want, the CBD part of it, if you're into Delta 9, wherever you are, somewhere else, that's up to you. But I'm not a big smoke guy. Cigar I am because you ain't inhaling it, okay? I don't mind that. But when it comes to, and not only don't I mind it, I love it, as you're smoking one now, but I don't like the burning sensation, but that sounded wrong. The burning sensation. I'm talking about with the smoke hitting your lungs, not that other burning sensation that some may go through. JB, you know what that's all about. Anyway.
I got it now.
Yeah, I don't like the smoke in my lungs. I don't mind a gummy. And I've flipped the switch on, knowing when guys are addicted to narcotics and Percocets, and I've been there because of surgeries, and they're awful. So I've kind of flipped the switch. It doesn't bother me post-career, but I can tell you this: somebody takes 100 milligrams of a gummy, and you got THC in that shit, and you're telling me, and I know you got some buddies that'll indulge as well that are enthusiasts. Dude, try 100 milligrams and tell me if you can remember 8 minutes ago, let alone what jump shot to hit or who you're trying to dunk on. Unless you're an enthusiast for years and 100 milligrams is a yawner. If I threw 100 milligrams down my system, I'd be so paranoid I'd walk it out in the middle of the street and not know where. I'd be like Will Ferrell in one of his damn movies, okay? So tell me your thoughts on current, post, Delta 9, THC, weed smoking, or overall while you're a current player, because the rules say you can't. So what do you think, JB?
I hate it. I hate weed, so I'm an anti-weed guy. I've never had one player perform well on being high or smoking weed all the time. I've cut more players than anybody when it comes to this weed shit. If weed was priority over everything else, they just never worked out. Now, I know they all smoked. The problem is, can you control it? I mean, even as grown men, I got friends that are just, they're so high that they're useless. Like they're just, I don't even want to be around them. They're just worthless. And so, I don't know, man. Listen, we got good friends that are in the weed business and all this. Yeah. I get it, but I've never benefited from it. And I'm from the hood where they slang weed and dope and all this shit. I've never seen one good thing come from it. I've never seen it. My 50 years, I'm just telling you. You can
good night's sleep, brother. A good night's sleep does come.
Maybe there you go. I gotta come clean. Now, if you sleep, Sean, and not around me, good. But when you're up high, you might as well be asleep.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So you're worthless to me.
It's mumbling and stumbling, and they're sitting there. I mean, you get that guy who's like, dude, you haven't said anything. Do you remember we talked about 5 minutes ago? Yeah. But some dude can function. There's functional alcoholics. There's functional. But there are some now, dude, that they'll function. Matter of fact, they can't function. The first thing they do before they brush their teeth is get on that stuff so they get through their day. Which, listen, if that prevents you from narcotics, fine. But when they say it's not addictive, your ass. If you've slept 3 good nights in a row and you had yourself about 20 milligrams of a gummy, guess what you're doing on the 4th night? Your ass is in the sheets doing another one. Okay? Especially, and you say, man, my back feels a little better. No, your back doesn't feel a little better. The rest of you does, and it helps your back. And you wake up the next morning and it's like, yeah. But so current players, Alabama hoops player, Segs will have the story. We'll get to that, but a lot of people I'm sure are familiar with it. But Well, Segs, you got it in front of you?
Yeah.
You got just read it to JB in case he missed it. I know he had a lot going on.
Yeah, Alabama basketball player Aiden Holloway was arrested this morning on first-degree possession of marijuana after a search at a residence by the West Alabama Narcotics Task Force. So, I mean, this is a kid that's on the number 4 seed in one of the brackets with Alabama, getting ready to play his game come Thursday, and now you're getting busted. I think that's the difference here.
Irresponsible with your team. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not even so much getting busted by your team or your coach being high. This is you're getting arrested by the police. So Aiden Holloway puts his team in a bind here just 3 days before they're supposed to take the floor against Hofstra. Bad luck for Aiden Holloway, but we'll see how it works out and what happens to him, not only legally, but at the school at Alabama with his coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Alabama.
The law says you can't do it. That's what he says. And it's a letdown to your teammates. I mean, we're not joking. We sit here and joke about our buddies that do it. I'm not making light of something like this. I'm just talking about, listen, sitting around. I'd rather do that than wake up with a hangover. Not what he did, but in my house, going to bed and then wake up with, you just drank 5 shots of tequila and didn't eat. And you wake up the next morning, your head's pounding. No thanks. But one may help, but the thing is, for some, JB, we've been around our buddies a lot that are struggling in life, that they can't get out of bed, whether it's from PTSD right on down to limping, walking with a cane. I got buddies I play with. And, I get it, but under these situations, the rules and the laws tell you you're not allowed to do it. In the NCAA, you're not allowed to do it and break the law if it's a certain amount in your car, and you got in trouble. See, it's a letdown to your teammates. But I just don't know how, and we're getting all our great comments that some can show up and dominate and do it. I'm just one. I'd be paranoid. If I was playing while I couldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it because my mind would think that I was so unfocused. And maybe you're in your creative way, but not with a football in my hand, dude, or a jump shot. Maybe with a golf club, but I ain't tried that yet. Maybe I should, but in the field of competition, when you're letting teammates down in a serious way and breaking the law, now you've put your team in a bind. Now I know it's Hofstra and they'll beat Hofstra, but you get the point.
Yeah, it's the other problem is the NCAA controls it. They give you NIL now. You got a collective, and this is again another crutch as to why these entitled kids continue to abuse the privilege and the stuff that you and I never got to receive. Like they're abusing the hell out of this thing. So now you're telling me that. And Sean King and I discussed this earlier, like, especially when you got 80%, let's say 70% inner city youth going to get recruited from college level coaches. And then they've never been around or benefited from having any sort of big time money around them. They've had a mother usually working 3-4 jobs support them. They've always been on eggshells trying to find ways to survive. And then you give them a bunch of money right out the gate without financial literacy whatsoever. You see idiotic things, and ignorance is life-threatening, continuing to happen. And we have abused the privilege that we've allowed, the NCAA now has allowed our kids to benefit from. We are abusing it every single day. This will be another crutch. And now what are you going to do? Are you going to still cry over spilled milk? Oh, these kids deserve more money. No, they don't. No, they don't. And that's the problem. You've given them the keys to Lamborghinis, haven't taught them how to drive a Prius yet. Number one, you got more DUIs, more speeding tickets, more reckless driving than we've ever seen. And you're continuing to give them more money, and you're going to continue to see stupid stuff like this. Remember Darrell Henley right here in our backyard, Sean? Played in the NFL and was slinging dope on the side because he didn't think he made enough. Well, now these kids getting paid in college and still want to go sling dope, still want to go do stupid stuff like they're from and in the hood. They're not. We're not in the hood no more. You're making money. And who are their friends? The yes boys, yes men around them who don't grab them and say, mother, what are you doing? Like, it is ridiculous. You and I had someone checking us back in the day if we did something stupid. These kids are ruining their current situation and their future situation. And if you are a second leading scorer in the SEC, you're probably getting looked at by NBA talent scouts. Yep. You're going to get drafted and have an opportunity to play in the NBA, and you are screwing that off right now. And your friends, your homies are allowing it. And you either
there's going to be there's going to be plenty of them, Segs and JB, who say, "Oh, what's the big deal?" They are going to. Well, the big deal is the rules and the law say you can't do it.
Exactly.
And that's just part of the discipline that if you rob Peter, you got to pay Paul. The question is the answer is most of these kids after they rob Peter are not paying Paul. They're getting a hall pass and a regular. And I'm sorry, and I don't want anybody to tell me, well, the pros do it. Well, these kids aren't pros. There is no way on God's green earth a kid who walks off a high school campus and hasn't pissed a drop in college sports should be making more than the guy that's coaching him in the room. I'm sorry. NFL, well, it's different. Well, they drafted you in the NFL. They placed you. You're under contract. And they guess what? If you screwed up, they cut you. Well, can we do that? I guess I can do that in college too. I'd love to be able to cut players in college. I would. I would love to have that kid who's taking it for granted and does it, say, screw you, I'm transfer the third time. No, you don't have to worry about transfer. You're cut. You can't go to class here. You're moving on. You're not for us anymore. You didn't live up to what we thought when we recruited you. We made a mistake. I may even fire the guy who recruited you because there were signs that said we shouldn't have, like when we do those psychological tests on NFL guys. We should have got out in front of it. Start treating their ass like they're grown-ups that are taking care of family and they got a life in front of them, because if you don't, they're not going to have a life in front of them, period.
That's
so
great.
I listen, I don't mind NIL, but doing it the right way. But when you walk into a room, think about this, Segs, and I'm only using your guy. You haven't done anything wrong. But Bryce Underwood, $12 million contract, right?
Right.
Who makes more than him? Who makes more than him in the building, football, basketball, or baseball at the University of Michigan? I know two guys that do. I'm not even talking about the AD. I'm talking about in the coaching world. The head coach in the basketball team and the head coach in the football team.
Yeah.
Guess who makes more than him? Nobody else.
Right.
Nobody else in that building. So with that, to me, and I'm just using him because he's a high-priced talent.
Big contract,
no question. So for me, get to the point, the accountability fact. We allow him to rob Peter. Not everybody. It's not fair to put a blanket statement. The problem is the adults in the room let him. Don't force him to pay Paul. And it'll come back to, well, it's not that big a deal. He had a little weed in his car. That's not the point. The point is you were able to do it and probably thumbing your nose saying, it doesn't matter if I get caught. What's the consequences? What are the consequences, Segs, for this guy?
Hey,
what
you
are
got to
the
let him play?
consequences?
You got to let him play?
No.
But
No.
remember, this guy had
He
that
broke a
kid.
school rule. He broke a team rule. He broke
Yeah.
the law. No,
Well.
he's not playing against Hofstra. Even if they let him. Sit your ass down. Put on street clothes. It's a lesson learned. We
Hey.
can beat Hofstra without you, and I need
The
you
other
later
problem-
on.
Yeah.
The other problem is the coaches don't have the power anymore. It's the boosters.
I
'cause
know.
They're the ones paying them.
And remember,
That's
this guy
exactly
had a gun charge, and he played. So
Yep.
I wouldn't be shocked if this cat plays Friday. I'm just telling you right now.
Dude, I'm not shocked at all. But if I was a coach, I don't care what NIL says, administration. You hired me to prevent them from themselves. This is the way it is. We may lose your points because you're a good player. But when you make decisions like this, the guy who's worked his ass off and made better decisions than you is going to play. You'll be in your street clothes representing, and you will be here sitting on the bench like the rest of the guys who aren't in uniform, like a red shirt. You're going to sit your ass down and you're going to watch. And if you got a problem with it, I'm going to transfer. I don't know if he's got eligibility left. He must, Segs, right?
Well, that's what is going to happen.
Yeah.
He
You
won't
go
even
ahead.
show.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, good. Guess what? For everyone that leaves, it's the University of Michigan. I can find another good player. Our program isn't because of you. We can win a game without you. We can go on without you. Alabama's got good players. And so to me, the threat, you don't get to threaten me. If you're going to up and transfer because you broke the law and you didn't play this game, we'll discuss game 2 after game 1, and you're going to move on and you're going to transfer.
Don, unfortunately,
Good. Let them have the problem, because it won't be the last time you get caught smoking weed if we don't put a stop to it now. Even then, you may still rob Peter without paying Paul at some other program. It ain't going to be on my watch. Simple.
But they won't. You and I won't. But they don't. The coaches are at the back. They're at the mercy. They want to keep up with the Joneses. They don't. They will not cut you. And if they do sit you, the kid's going to say, "Oh, I'm out." He's out for his own reasons, and he'll leave. And then the next guy in the portal will grab him. That's the problem. Yeah. If we stop and have a gentleman's agreement as we once used to have, your trash is not my treasure. Right now, your trash is everyone else's treasure, and that is why college basketball, college football, and sports have become what it is. 4 times in 4 years transfer, because the other man takes these kids, even though they're shitbirds. We got to cut it off at some point, dog. So if you don't, you're going to have this player empowerment continuing.
JB, here's the problem. We've gone from player empowerment, and you mentioned shitbirds. Here's the problem. we now have some coaches that have bought into the shitbird regime.
Yeah, of course. That's what they do now.
That are all about the shitbird regime, because you know what they think? Well, he goes, he transfers. A couple other guys are pissed off. He's pissed off. It was only weed. He just broke a law. What's the big deal? And now I'm not going to get an extension of my contract, and I might be in trouble, so it goes down. So you know what? You do it. Let me tell you what. Just so I could make sure that every single college kid in every sport, male or female, understands this. You are replaceable. Every last one of you. The sport was going along fine without you. The sport will go along fine without you moving forward. You're a good player, fine. But for every guy who can score 17 points in a college basketball game or that's a difference maker, there's a high school kid playing at De La Salle High School in San Francisco. There's a guy in Chicago. There's a guy here in Houston that Kelvin Sampson will get, that lives by the rules, does his thing, that's just as good as you. And Alabama will recruit a guy better than you at some point, just like they will at quarterback, just like it doesn't matter. There's always somebody else. But the problem is, we're such an instant gratification, we can't do it, Segs and JB.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
Yeah, it's the world we live in college athletics right now, and I don't see it changing anytime soon. Jumping over to the NFL, we had a trade this morning, which is interesting. It's not a big-time needle mover for either team, but Justin Fields traded from the New York Jets to the Kansas City Chiefs for a 27 sixth-round pick. Fields will be the backup to Patrick Mahomes, who says he plans on being ready to open the season. If he is not, Justin Fields will take the field for the Chiefs. How do you like the fit of Fields and Andy Reid's offense?
I love it. I said 3 months ago that Andy's no way is Andy not going to get some veteran with some experience in case Patrick can't go. I said everybody from Flacco to Cousins to be a fill gap. I said there he's going to take somebody he's known. He's not going to start the season with the practice squad guy that he ended the season with last year. So I think this is a great fit but because of the addition of Eric Bieniemy coming back, that adds a inside run game mentality that Eric Bieniemy brings that's going to have a little bit of asshole to it. And now you can implement a double, triple option type of scheme when he does have to play, or if he has to play or start the season. Now you have an RPO, you have a full boot naked package that Andy Reid will put together, and I think it's a win-win. I think you have a guy at least that has a lot of games started in a relatively young career, and he's a great damn kid, so he's not hurting your locker room either. So you have all these dynamics. I actually hope he gets a little bit more shit on his neck and actually becomes a little more stern alpha male. I talked about it on the show today. I love his old Jesus Christ push and everything like that. We all love that for these youngsters. But also, Jesus likes a little bit of an asshole too now when you're an alpha male in a gladiator sport. So he needs to be that leader guy that he once was, because I don't want to see a reboot of him backing up Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh either. So that's what I want to. I want to see him own this thing and become a better quarterback, because he has all the skill in the world.
I agree. I think there's some things about this one, and to answer your question, Corn Pops dealer, will Fields pull a Sam Darnold? He's not the thrower. He doesn't have the arm.
Not here, no.
Extremely not there. This is a temporary, more than likely stop for him to try and get some experience to go somewhere. But he's also he doesn't have the arm talent that Darnold has. He just doesn't. He's a talented kid that we haven't seen it all yet, but he's not Sam Darnold. Can he rejuvenate his career under Andy Reid? Sure he can. And that's why leading to this is what I like. Experience, played in a lot of games, which is important. If there's anybody he's going to at this stage of his career to get him back on track, he's going to Andy Reid, and that is the right place to go, period. And if Mahomes plays from the start, well, then you'll learn from a guy who gets it. The offense will look different if Fields is on the field. It just will. As JB, you mentioned, inside zone, pull it out, RPO, get you naked boot on the edge. And like as good as Mahomes' feet are, he's still a pocket passer that buys time. This guy is unfortunately, one read and take off, getting better as he's gone on. And this will be the best team he's been on too, period. It just will. Everything about this, if you're Fields, even if he could have got more money in the trade, he got traded, but if he was a free agent, could have got more money. Or if he got traded or somebody else offers, they would have taken the best deal. But for Fields wanting to be a part of this is smart, because he's going to learn a lot about his career, and he's still a young man. He's not old. Yeah. So I do like it. I like the experience. It'll look different. if you're looking for polished passer, getting through your reads, being patient, probably not. But as it goes on, you may see more of it. And I'm with you, JB. The next level of him, you can be a prick on the field, and I mean that in a winning way, not to your teammates where you're bad, but just to where when you cross the line, nice guy in the world, do all the stuff you want. When you hit the field, maybe a different approach, because he's at the career at this point in his career, Segs and JB, it's one way or the other, right? He's got a chance to enhance it, and maybe if things work out and he does get 4 or 5 games, there's another place for him to start. And you never know what's going to happen when a guy comes out of an injury. So I think it's a smart move. I think it expands the bandwidth of your run game and quarterback run, designed runs, which you're not doing for Mahomes very often. Mix in once in a while, but most of the time his runs are off schedule. So I do like it. And I think that Justin Fields' talent allows you. He does. And he is a gifted kid, man. He just is. I think it's a wise move. And Andy Reid, as I've said on here before, Segs, is a reclamation project lover. Whether it's off the field or on the field, he's as good as we have at it. And if you're Justin Fields, embrace this. Whether Mahomes is back or not, pick the brain of everybody. I think Justin Fields has got a chance to expand his career. He's never going to lead the league in accuracy or passing. But what he does give you is a kid with experience, and probably along the way has learned what to do and what not to do. And there's nobody he's played for that's even in the class of coach that the guy he's about to go to. It's not even close. So he'll be coached better than he's ever been coached in his career.
Yeah, and if he has to start the season, say Mahomes starts on the PUP list, has to miss the first 4 weeks, him and Kenneth Walker are a dangerous duo running the football.
No doubt.
With Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy.
And when I heard from a good friend of mine who's very close with the staff, is that's the number one reason why they grabbed him, because they were looking at other folks, but when they signed Kenneth Walker, this was a 1-2 couldn't miss duo. So I think those are 2 very similar style of guys too. Now I'm talking about Justin Fields runs just like Kenneth Walker. If you haven't watched him,
he's physical, yeah.
And this is it's a great little tandem. And you can and just think about loading the box on Kenneth Walker to stop, and you pull it out on an RPO, and you've got slants right behind the backers, and you've got other things you can do with Andy Reid. And
that's his strength. That is this kid's strength, no doubt. Yeah. And you know what's JB and Segs, and we can move on from this, but the one thing I do love also is that you start to think some coaches can't adjust when they have to adjust the quarterback room, meaning how they call plays. They're going to do it their way, and if you don't fit into their way, then we got a problem. Andy Reid, remember, Andy Reid was always a West Coast offense guy. Long verbiage West Coast offense guy. Philly, when he's back in Green Bay, goes there, comes to Kansas City, and we used to have, and JB, you know this, vertical passing game Raiders. The play action, move the pocket stuff that Washington did, push the ball down the field, inside zone, run game, stretch boot. We had that in Minnesota when Jack Burns left Washington, old Joe Gibbs style. Then you had the Bill Walsh and the West Coast offense and John Gruden and the Andy Reids. What he has is then Mahomes comes up and he's like, no, I can't live by this offense. And now everybody's got every offense. It's a plethora. You got 4 different systems we used to designate. Well, they're West Coast. Well, they're vertical passing game. Well, they're play action and RPO. No, everybody should implement a little bit. But Andy Reid doesn't just implement it. He uses it. He saw Mahomes and said, I'm going to get out of what I do and adjust to the talent I have. And nobody in the league has been better at that than him. And here we are now with this. And Andy will do it again, because the offense will not be the same, even though Fields is talented. You're not going to go through your reads. And in truth, there's this misconception about the Chiefs. JB and I have talked about this. This team over the last couple of years has become a sideways, ball out, everything in front passing game. They got a little more as the season went on last year, but this is a different looking offense than Mahomes even came into the league. And it'll look different with Fields too. But I think this is a solid get for a guy who's been maligned in his career at times, meaning Fields, but also I think people think, has he been undercoached or not coached properly? And I can argue in New York and possibly at times in Chicago, he was not coached properly, truthfully, simple. So I think yes, which is blasphemous and a bad knock on the team. He's going to the best place he's ever been. Hopefully he'll seize that moment.
Well, I think Andy Reid will use him when Mahomes is healthy too.
No doubt.
And he'll become a weapon.
Put a package in for him, Segs, no question.
Yes. Sean, a story out of your alma mater there at USC. Matt Leinart has been asked to unretire his number 11 by multiple prospects coming in. And Let's just listen to his response to that question.
USC, I got my number retired. There's been multiple times where people at USC have asked me if I would unretire my jersey for some 5-star prospect. And do you want to know what I told those guys straight up? I am never going to unretire my jersey for some random dude who, by the way, now could wear number 11 and transfer after a year. The only person that will ever wear my USC number 11 would be Cole, who's not there right now. He's at SMU, or 2 of my boys if they end up going to USC and playing football. That is it.
I'm with him. Listen, I know that the circumstance and who the human being is and who the person is, and whether it's family or somebody you know or somebody you've admired or somebody who went to your, same high school that comes into college. I understand, though, you got more skins in the game going college to the NFL. I went to USC as the number 1 recruit in the country. I wore number 12 in high school. I couldn't get it, and I would have never asked Charles White to let me. He wore number 12. I had to wear number 7, was there. Now, I may be a high school kid. I'm with him. And the transfer thing's the key here. You come in one year, you wear it, we took it out for you, and you left for more money. And I'm with Leinart. Normally, I'm unselfish about this. When I see NFL guys, the first pick of the draft goes, and a guy like Warren Moon will say, sure, with Tennessee Titans, which used to be the Houston Oilers, if you want to wear my number, have at it. I get that. Or Jerry Rice or Steve Largent, if they want it or don't. I don't have a problem with this. In truth, we give enough player empowerment. I don't really care. Now, if it was my best friend and his kid was there and he said, man, it would be an honor if you'd let him, I'd consider it. But in this case, some kid wakes up from modern day or some high school in Florida or Texas and goes, I want to wear number 11. Well, Matt, what do you think? I don't know him. Is he going to stay there the whole time? What's he got him? No, I'm not giving him my number. Go find a new one. Go make it your number. So it's not, this to me isn't etched in stone all the time. This is the way I'd react all the time. And in this case, I'm with Matt 100%. It's yours. You earned it. You put it on the map. You're a Heisman Trophy winner and a high school. I think it's different college to pro because then I've watched them earn a little more. You played in high school in some kind. No. Sorry. You're not my kid. You're not family, or you're not my buddy's best friend or a favor. All right, then put down that you're going to stay at the school for 4 years, and then we can have a conversation. I normally am the not greedy, unselfish part of this, but I am quite frankly tired of paving a road for a kid that they don't have any idea to switch, because you give them the jersey, next thing you know, thinks he can get it anywhere. No, I'm with Matt Leinart on this one, JB. Nope, just some kid out of nowhere. Nah, okay, then you know what? Like they do when you go to the pros and a guy says, man, can I have your jersey? You got traded to my team for $100,000 or $50,000, or I'll buy you a new vehicle. If you're Matt Leinart, the kid wants your jersey. You say, well, you're a 5-star recruit. How much NIL you getting? $1 million. Okay, yeah, I'll give it to you for $300,000. Then you know what the kid would say? Oh, no, I'm going to go get another jersey. Good. That's the point. So I normally am receptive to this, not high school to college. No, because I lived it, and we weren't NIL. I lived it. I wanted 12, couldn't wear it. Charlie, respect, with reverence. That is, you earned that Heisman Trophy. I got to go play better with another jersey, number 7, and I'll make it work. Because Elway wore 7, I'll wear 7 at SC. That was my thinking. And I wouldn't even have the nerve to go up to Charlie White and say, hey, man, what do you think? Would you unretire your 12? And I was in position, not arrogant, as JB, because I was highly recruited. But I wasn't dumb enough, and my old man would have looked at me and said, you can't get 12? It's your ass another jersey. That guy earned it. He won a Heisman Trophy. Don't go asking for his jersey. You go put another jersey on the map. And that's the way I would have approached it. I'm 100% on Leinart's thing this year. I mean, on this case, high school kid coming, I don't know you. And just because you're coming to USC, I don't know if you're committed forever. Sorry. Go find a new jersey. I'm all on Leinart's train on this.
I'm with Leinart. I'm with Leinart's take right here because they retired him, but I just hate that colleges retire jerseys. I think it's the dumbest thing ever.
That I understand as well.
Yeah,
I if you retire 20 of them, how many are left, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying that's the stupidest thing ever, because the college is not for you to shut down a number. How am I supposed to play? Like, I don't understand the college retiring jersey thing. I never have. The Colorado thing was blasphemous. And I don't think anybody should have their college number retired. Ring of Honor and all that shit, you can do all that and still keep the integrity of the number in the program. I just don't understand why you like USC 55, Willie McGinnis, Junior Seau, the list goes on and on and on. They promote that. I don't understand why this is like you don't retire that. Like, you promote it. You want that guy to be the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
JB, you hang the jersey. They got
hang
their
it
high
up.
like Key and Carson Palmer and Caleb, but there's 3 jerseys that are retired that you'll never be able to wear their number again.
Yeah.
At least unless they change it, when you won the Heisman Trophy, not only do they have a Heisman Trophy in Heritage Hall, your jersey, nobody got to wear it anymore. And
like they won a jersey
in
in place. Sean, they couldn't even tell you 5 players have ever played at the place now, these kids. They don't even know who fucking Bo Jackson is. They don't even know anything about football. It's a slap in the face. I wouldn't give a number to any of these prima donna kids. And if they don't know about the university more than the number, but they want, I want to wear Reggie Bush because they know who Reggie Bush was, but they have no idea. They're gonna leave and want to wear what number next at LSU when they leave, or Florida. Like, it's a joke. I'd retire everything if I was the commissioner.
Yeah, and it's funny how these kids, this is Dustin, but funny how these kids respect the number on the jersey, but no school's name on the jersey, or they'll just up and leave after a year, but they still want the number. It's crazy. They don't know the history. And I'll be honest, I was coaching at a camp, and you're going to say, well, Shawnee's a long time ago. Well, if you like music and you play in it, you can't be an expert in anything unless you know the history of it. That's my understanding. Music, history, whatever it is. I asked these kids once, I said, I want to know, do you guys know, I went through Eric Dickerson, Marcus Allen. I said, what about Johnny Unitas? We were in a room for a quarterback, 30 of them. One kid raised his hand. I said, all of you go home and write me a paragraph about Johnny Unitas and come back and tell me about him tomorrow. Nobody knew if it's, crew cut or black high tops and to me, while it doesn't bother me that bad, it kind of bothered me because you don't have any idea about the history. And we could go back 15 years, and I'm telling you right now, if you said Joe Montana, I'm telling you 80% of the quarterbacks, unless their parents told them across this high school country, have zero idea who he is. Yeah, none. So I'm with you, and I understand the retirement. What you should do, hang their jerseys from rafters and let them wear it. We'll go to some places, and there's 2 number 7s, 2 number 12s, an offense and defense is like all these repeatable numbers. That, to me, is a bit blasphemous, but I know you got so many kids. There's only so many. I can't wear jersey number 103. I get it. But we'll do that, yet let him retire, let it go. The kid earned. No, the kid didn't earn shit. He's walking off a high school campus. I'm not even sure he can play, even though he's a 5-star guy, because the people who put stars on him sometimes don't know how to evaluate a player. So to me, nah. And I'm with you on the retirement. You did it. You come to college, honored, hanging the jersey, that number 11. If we ever did retire it and there was enough jerseys, okay, the guy who won the Heisman Trophy gets it. But you're right. Honor it, hang it, leave it there, hang it from the rafters at the Coliseum, whatever you want to do. But grab another 11. I would have loved to wear number 12. It would have been a blast. But
Sean, by the way, recruiting is a huge thing.
Leinert's right.
And it's by the way, I was one of the first ones that I know, but I used to go 1 through 9 twice. So 1 through 9 on offense and 1 through 9 on defense, which was legal in college. And I did that for recruiting purposes. So now if number 7's retired, how the fuck am I going to wear it twice? I can't even wear it one time. So I lose 2 kids. And if I'm a coach going into that, I don't know about, you're not high on my list.
Can you imagine though, JB and Segs, can you imagine though? Because the other schools I was getting recruited by had number 12 available. Can you imagine? Can you imagine though? You wake up one morning and you're going, I love the school, everything about it, the legacy. I'm a bit of diehard Trojan or whatever, Michigan or UCLA, whoever you're a fan of. And then they don't have 12, and I say, well, I'm going to another school because I don't get the jersey. Can you imagine? I understand how important, but can you imagine?
It happens.
Can you friggin' imagine? I'm not. Why didn't you go there? It was your dream. You grew up. You're a fan of USC, and then you wake up and they say, well, go to BYU instead because they had my number 12 jersey. I'm going to Stanford instead because number 12 was available. What? Are we really there? Nah, sorry. My license plate that says, even though I don't get vanity license, but you can being a wise ass, I'll switch. I'll just make some other jersey famous. Take that private. Not to go to a school based on the jersey number. You aren't committed to the school in the first place. If that's the case, I'm all on Leinert's train on this one. And JB's about retiring jerseys.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we got to let Coach JB run. He's got some stuff he's got to do. Thanks, JB. I got a few guys that I'm gonna.
I got my damn my house cleaner and a goddamn landscaper here to I got a root coming out of a wall and I got to get it cut out before it blows my wall out.
What the fuck's your movie? Jumanji? We got these trees growing in your front room. What is this?
Sean, we got those slopes in our backyard. We got those slopes in our backyard, and my fucking retaining wall has a root coming through the retaining wall. And if that fucker breaks,
it's sloped down where there's nothing behind you but the slope up to the next street or the next neighborhood. Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And I got a damn root coming through my retaining wall.
JB, go roll the dice on Jumanji and hope that part of the
Can you
phase
come
of the
fix
game
it?
goes away.
Can you come
I
fix
can
it?
actually. I'm a green thumb, and I know how to get that out for you. I can't lay drywall, but I can go fix your damn fence, and I can go fix your.
If I ever want to put
gardening
a pool in, that's costing me right now. If I ever want to put a pool in, I'm fucked because I got to take the whole thing. Everything will fall down to the house. Everything will fall down to the house, and then somebody said the wall's coming down. Somebody in your chat said the wall's coming down. See, I don't like your chat now.
Hey,
is
tear down that wall. Yes.
Is that a pink hat or is it fuchsia?
This is a more pink than fuchsia. It brings out the green in my eyes too. So I figured I'd throw that in, a little logo up here, a little powder blue, but it brings out the green in my eyes. It's pink. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm secure enough in my masculinity to know that I can.
That's a good answer. I was gonna say a little feminine, but I get it.
Yeah.
All right.
If you can find anything feminine about me, you let me know. Now get off our airwaves. I love you, brother. We miss you, man. Good to see you. Appreciate it, JB. Thanks.
He'll be back with us next week at the
always.
real coach _JB. I got a video for you.
Salmon's a good color too. Might be salmon, a little more salmon than pink. That's even better because it's not fuchsia. That's a little darker. But he's right on.
Salmon is actually, I think, what it is. What it looks like, at least on the screen.
Does it look salmon to you guys? It looks a little more pink in here, Segs. But you know what? Now that it's like a darker pink, if that makes sense. So salmon works. That's fine. It's a tweener. So there you go.
Falls there. Real quick, I wanted to play this for both of you, but he had to run. You guys talk about 7-on-7 so much in the quarterback play, and part of the reason why quarterbacks aren't advancing like we all want them to and expect them to because of 7-on-7. This is Peyton Manning's son playing 7-on-7 in high school. Watch this drop back, and it just made me think of the way you guys do it. How many times in a game are you going to just get to hitch up 3 times and then take just a big stride, a yard away from where you take the snap and make a throw?
I got news for you about the Manning family. We're watching this. One thing I could promise you, when Peyton and Eli and Cooper and the family, even Arch, go back, Archie or Arch now, go back and watch this. You know what they're going to be saying? Dude, hold your water. Stay back there where you drop back. There's a difference between hitching up when a pass rush is coming. You got to slide, reset, and throw.
Yes.
And then when it's a clean pocket, I teach guys this all the time. A hitch doesn't mean hitch up and climb. Big difference. A hitch means you can actually hitch it. Stay right, freeze it. Stay right there. Go back, Bailey, go back if you can. Freeze it right there. Take your hitch and stay there. Why do you think we're pushing away from center? To get away from a pass rush. So now you hitch all. This is why 7-on-7. I'm not saying for the Mannings. This is Peyton, I guarantee, sees this a million times. I'm sure his kids probably knows more than the coach. And freeze it right there and hold it. Hitch in place, stay there, because you want to create space from the. Obviously, it's amazing. He's under center too. He's dropping back. Sit in the pocket. Sit there. There's no pass rush. It's a clean pocket. Trainers spend too much time, and in 7-on-7, all reps ain't good reps. This can ruin you. And these guys hitch all the way up. I'm not even just talking about him. I see it all the time. And throw from a yard deep. Well, you just climbed on the guard in the center's ass. You're not throwing from there. And a hitch means in place. I got to tell them all the time, hold your water, stay back here. We work so hard to get depth with urgency. Set up and stay there. Now, a guy cross your face, you got to sidestep and reset. I promise you, when Peyton is watching this with his son, you know what he's going to tell him? Sit back here. Why are you climbing? Why are you hitching? And if you want to hitch 3 times and the buzzer in 7-on-7, I'm going, hitch in place. There's no pass rush.
Right.
And all these trainers, not all of them, it's not fair, but a lot of them, we train so much off schedule bullshit that when it's time to play on schedule, like that little shallow crosser, you miss it because you're doing all this assholes, kneecaps and elbows everywhere. And you're like, dude, just sit there, take 3 in a hitch or 5 in a hitch. 7 in a hitch, which we don't do in high school and college, let alone the pros very often, and sit there. There's nobody there. Just sit there. Take your plan. Stay active with your feet. Sit there. But then now finish this out, Bailey. Watch. And it's not just Manning. And I guarantee Peyton ain't teaching this. And he slides all the way up, freeze. Now, that's where you'd throw at the end of a quick game, 1, 2, 3 balls out. Now you've hitched 3 times. First of all, you're late. If you got that much time in a high school game, God bless you, then you're on one of these, then you're on IMG's team or one of these powered Duncanville or one of the powered North Shore here in Houston.
Right.
But you can't, they just stay there and do it. This, I'm telling you, 7-on-7. I've had to fix more kids that have come back from 7-on-7 after you train them where their mechanics went to shit. They come back because, unfortunately, there are some and quite a few that are into the money grab. I'm not saying this here. I'm saying I've seen it. Some are really good at it, coaching it, because they're coaching for Friday night 11 on 11.
Yes.
Understand discernment and be intentional with it. Being intentional isn't hitching. You're never going to hitch up and throw from a yard deep on a clean pocket. You're going to be playing in you're going to break your thumb on a helmet. You're going to be in your center's ass or on your right guard's ass. It's not happening. So if you're not teaching 7-on-7 to be like 11 on 11, then you're doing it wrong, because you ain't winning any championship. Oh, you'll get the medal in the off season. We won a 7-on-7. This right here, if he tries that on Friday night in Louisiana, guess what's going to happen? Or Denver, if he's in Colorado, that ball, he'll be sacked. And Peyton knows it. I promise you, Manning's not teaching this. But 7-on-7 coaches, if you're letting this happen because you want to win a 7-on-7 event, 11 on 11, it will change you and you will suffer for it. Start teaching 7-on-7 like you're playing 11 on 11, and those kids will even be more ready to play college football and actually read a defense. And I can assure you one thing, a Manning knows how to read a defense. I promise you Peyton ain't teaching that, and he'll go home and coach. And that wouldn't be Peyton's 7-on-7. I'm sure he's not coaching, because if he was and that happened, he'll come back and say, yeah, good throw. Why are you hitching up to the line of scrimmage? Yeah. So he just can't do it. Everybody thinks reps are all good reps. That's not a good rep, because your body and mind start to teach it. And you start doing that for 3 months in the offseason. Guess what happens? You start doing that on Friday night. You wonder, everybody's pissed at the offensive line, Segs. They're all pissed at the O-line when you do that on Friday night. All the high school moms and dads that are yelling, and the fourth-string quarterback's mom's pissed that her son's not playing, or the right guard blocked his guy and held him there and did his job, and you hitched up, and then the ball gets batted, and everybody's like, well, come on, right guard. And you're looking back and say, no. Quarterback, if he stayed back, had a clean pocket, perfect pocket, that's not on the offensive line. Quarterbacks run into sacks just as much as an offensive line lets them happen. And that won't happen. I guarantee the Mannings will use that as a teaching lesson for that son.
He's an 8th grader in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Baylor school. So he'll be
there you go. And guess what? Year. I would imagine he'll turn out really good. Okay. Yes. And it's good to see that if you're a Manning or anybody, because if I was the coach, I'd go back and say, I'm sorry, we got to coach this up so 11 on 11 fits you on Friday nights.
Yeah, and I guarantee he won't be throwing like that either in 3 years. With the leg falling forward and
no, dude, he's off balance.
That was a baseball throw. That was a baseball throw. The way he just threw that. So,
but let's keep the perspective. The kid's an 8th grader. Give him a chance. Sure. By the time he's a senior in high school, we'll all be
for sure.
Over. We got the next Arch Manning times 2 type of guy, right?
I saw it, and I'm just like, exactly what you guys talk about. Just nobody really coaching these kids, and they're just kind of doing what they want in this 7-on-7.
If a coach lets that go, he's not a good 7-on-7
exactly
coach, period.
Exactly. All right. Yesterday was Selection Sunday. We saw a bunch of the conference championships end yesterday or in Saturday. As you mentioned, we have Arizona, Duke, Michigan, and Florida, rightfully so, as the number 1 seeds. I think they got it right. What stood out to you when you look at these brackets in terms of, I think the one with, and I wish I had a bracket sitting right in front of me.
Yeah, it says, I didn't even study all the brackets yet, but I will. Yeah.
The one with Houston as the 2 seed right there with Florida. You have Nebraska, you have Vandy, you've got Illinois as the 3, North Carolina as the 6. That bracket is loaded. But then you go to Duke's bracket that has, UConn at the 2, Michigan State at the 3. You've got Kansas at the 4, St. John's at the 5. So right now you have John Shire at Duke, arguably the best team in the country. Then you have
They are the true 1 seed of the whole thing.
They are the true 1 seed. You have Danny Hurley as the 2 seed. You have Tom Izzo as the 3. You have Bill Self as the 4. And then you have Calipari, not Calipari, Patino, excuse me,
right,
as the 5.
St. John's. Yeah.
Oh, and then you have Louisville at 6, who's had times where they're really good, really not.
Blue blood
UCLA, Mick Cronin, we've talked about, crying Mick. He's the 7. I mean, that bracket right there is loaded.
Segs, what's crazy is we love battle tested. There's 2 of those 4 brackets that you're going to be battle tested by the time you roll into the Final 4. And that one you just mentioned, you got Hall of Fame coaches sitting in as a 5 seed. It's nuts how good that bracket is. You're right. And the Houston bracket's pretty damn loaded too. What sticks out to me, Segs, is the most under, and maybe it's been more talked about on regional shows or on radio shows in their local area, in like Gainesville in Florida or somewhere else. But in truth, and we give our girl who works and does a great job for us as part of our team here at Unpaved, Laura Palmisano, who's fantastic and is a diehard Florida fan, she went to school, is in truth, Florida, is it fair? I don't even want to say snuck through, Segs, but for the majority of the season, we knew they were good. But of all the good teams, they have been the least talked about of these top seeds. Matter of fact, there are some 2 seeds that along the way, and maybe sans the last 2 weeks of this college basketball season, where it's been everybody else, and they've been the by the way seed. Oh yeah, did you forget that Florida's won this many in a row and they're the reigning national champions? They have Segs. They have just kind of, and not as an afterthought, but nationally, it's like, yeah, don't forget about them. We've spent times, for a minute there, Houston was a 2 seed all the way through, right, Segs? Bam. Arizona was a 1 seed, undefeated, and they lost a couple in a row, and we're thinking, what the hell's going on with Arizona? Back at a 1 seed, and they beat Houston in their building. It's been crazy. So as you go through these brackets, there's no doubt that bracket you just mentioned is brutal. Obviously, Purdue had themselves a pretty good day yesterday too, but Segs, those are the 4 1 seeds, and I don't think they're arguable right now. But that bracket's going to be brutal. So the question here is, in these brackets, do you want to be battle tested or fresh legged? Because if you're in that conference, if you're in that bracket with, where you've got a team like St. John's that can roll all the way to the Elite Eight, they're damn right. And you're talking about a 5, you're like, damn, where do I find fresh legs in this tournament, right? So as you go through and study it, but coming out yesterday, I don't think you can argue who the 1 seeds are. Now, will it be chalk and roll with the 1 seeds all the way through? I don't think so. I think that we got a lot of depth in this tournament, especially with the first 4 or 5 seeds in the tournament, Segs. There will always be upsets. I'm anxious to see in this one in each bracket individually in those 4 regions, if in fact the battle tested or fresh legs is going to matter more, because you're going to be in for it in a couple of these brackets. You got to work your ass off to get through.
Yeah, and we have the Midwest up right here. I think Michigan, when I looked at them all and just ran through them, now I haven't really studied them, but just running through them, I thought Michigan got the easiest draw. I like Iowa State, but I don't think they're this unbeatable 2 seed. I think they could lose to Kentucky. Yeah,
and they could also be a 4 seed too. A Final Four team, Segs. Yes, they got. So, there's an extreme both ways with that team, no doubt.
And then you have Virginia, who I think is okay, but I don't think they're battle tested out in the ACC much. The ACC was kind of down this year outside of Duke. I don't think it was very, very good like the other conferences. Then you have Alabama. We just talked about Aiden Holloway. He may not be playing this first weekend or longer.
Segs, what if he misses 2 or 3 games? Alabama's even as a 4 seed, and that's troublesome.
That is trouble.
That's the whole part about this, Segs, and we joke about weed and all that. He broke all. The truth of the matter is, if you don't care about what happens to you, care about your teammates and what you're doing to this, because it's not like you're the 9th guy off the bench is going to see 4 minutes. You are a valuable asset to them, and you let your teammates down by forcing somebody else's hand. You now have put the situation out of your control because you were careless and dumb with this, and it's going to put your team in mind. Now, they got a 13 seed. They should win. But Segs, watch if they do lose in their score. If let's say they get upset, let's just talk for a second. I want you to think about the backlash from a 13 to a 4, a 13 seed, which we've seen happen in the tournament.
Yep.
All of a sudden, and you don't get the scoring you need, and you lose that way. What's going to be the entire talk at that university? That dude let us down.
Yes.
Now, the coach won't say that. He said, well, we should be good enough and credit the Hofstra and the rest. But if they pull it off, you know where that conversation's headed, right? And it should, because you let your team down just on distraction and presence alone.
100%. And then the 5 seed is Texas Tech. They don't have JT Toppin. That's a completely different team without JT Toppin.
My gosh.
Arguably,
any team would be different without that dude. Yes.
Right. So, I thought Michigan got the easiest draw. You go out west to where Arizona is the 1 seed. I think that's an interesting bracket with the way it's set up, having, Illinois there. I think there's a bunch of teams in that bracket that could change the way, or who comes out is what I'm trying to say.
Maybe even early in that bracket too, right, Segs? Early changes in the bracket, right?
Yes. And the other thing about the tournament is now, as we go through this, you have these lower seeded teams that get in, but yet with all the transferring going on, there is really good talent leaving high-end programs that you see in the top 5 seeds going to these smaller schools, which makes them very dangerous. So that's where I think we're seeing a lot more upsets. It feels like I saw yesterday 6-11. That's the biggest upset over the last 15 years. That's the one that every year it's over 50%, 52%.
Everybody talks 5 or 12, but 6 or 11 is even more telling metrics wise.
Yeah. So, I mean, I really think that, when you look at it, you have Arizona, Arkansas at the 4 in that West is, and I had it wrong. Gonzaga's in the West at the 3 seed. I had Illinois, but that's the wrong one. Arkansas.
Still a formidable opponent, no question.
Arkansas as a 4 seed is insane. Like, I mean, Darius Acuff is arguably the best player in the country right now, the way he's been playing. And he's a 4 seed. I mean, if you're Wisconsin, you got to be like, damn, like, we could beat High Point. And then we got to take on Darius Acuff, and they struggle, kind of guarding a guard, which we saw against Michigan the other day. I really think Arkansas could be a team that comes out, beats Arizona, and is in the Final Four. And
they're well coached, obviously, by the guy that's there in Calipari. You know what, Segs? You made an interesting point, and I don't want it to fall. I want to not only exclamation point with you, but validate exactly what you're saying. Is with the transfer portal, is it so many kids go in, there's only so many scholarships you have, and somebody may come up a smaller school than NIL. The biggest reward from this, Segs, are the high-end, big money schools that can pay you to in the portal. But the second biggest winner is the smaller schools that are waiting for there not to be enough room for somebody because they want, and then it falls to them. And so they've become more talented. And those, like you mentioned, those 6-13, 5-12s, guess what happens? They're no longer the devastating upset. There's not a lot of gap between 5 and 12 with some of these guys who were high-end talent, weren't getting the love they wanted, or the coach left, or they wanted more, and they went to a smaller school. Still, and they're a star, but they didn't get what they, for whatever reason. And it's happening in football too, Seg. Some guys, how many, you get 8,000, 10,000 kids in the portal. There's not enough jobs.
Right.
There's not enough scholarships available. So what do? You end up getting a scholarship to a smaller Division I, or even down a little further to the mid. And before you know it, you're like, damn, I love playing here. And now your team's a real threat because you got 2 cats from that transfer portal on the same team. Things change. So you make a good point, which is taking the lower seeds and make them even more dangerous, even with all the upsets over the years that we've been watching, even more dangerous. And they decided, I don't know if this is their consolation prize, but Miami of Ohio is a play-in game, I think, against SMU, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Yes. Is that right, Segs? Is that on there? It's in a bracket too, which 31-0, and I know 31-1, you belong in the tournament. And now they got to go earn it. And so this is almost like a kid that, like when you're an undrafted or you're a free agent, Segs, like a 2, and you go sign a 1-year contract in Atlanta. It's like a show me. So they're asking Miami, was your 31-0 real, even though you lost in the tournament to 31-1? Now you get to go play a pretty good program. And if you can beat them, okay, now you've earned your way in. So that's all this was. Because in truth, it's really hard for me to look at 31 straight wins and say, you didn't belong in the tournament, but they're going to make them earn it on a play-in. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fascinating March. It always is. We always see upsets. We always
love
see,
it.
Can the 1 seeds get there like we have seen in the past, all in the Final Four? I think they all have a legit shot because I do think, again, I still have the 3 on their own tier. I think Florida's kind of separated itself into its own little tier, right?
No doubt.
Those 4,
Agreed.
And then you got everybody else.
And they know championship chops, Segs. They winning it last year.
Right.
The last time I think we had a back-to-backer was Billy Donovan's squad at the University of Florida. I don't think I don't think we've had. If we have, then pardon my
trying to think of
my misspeak, but I don't think we've had a back-to-backer, and maybe we have, but I don't think so. And that's been a minute, and Florida's in position to do it again. And as Dustin also pointed out, Dustin, I'll answer. I mean, this is fact. The SEC is no longer, now it's always going to be a football conference per se. Yeah. The last 2 years, their basketball conference, last 3 years, has been every bit as good as their football conference. They just have.
For sure.
No doubt.
All right. Tomorrow, let's do this. We'll each pick an upset or two that we like. We'll sit down and really look at the bracket. I just haven't had
get
time.
out the bracket in front of it? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. We'll get out. We'll pick a couple upsets that we like. We can each pick one or two, whichever ones we like. And then we'll pick our final four. And we'll pick our national champion tomorrow. Because, again, I haven't, with the baseball tournament and everything, I haven't really had time to sit down and actually – I sat down last night when I finally got home, and I just put on the World Baseball Classic. And I just kind of sat there.
What a watch. I watched every pitch of every inning. I sat and watched all 9 innings. And Skeens didn't have his best stuff, but grinded through it. Severino was really good when he was in. Both teams' pitching was lights out. A couple clutch hits. The inning when you got the home runs, the 2 home runs in the inning was big for the U.S. And then you get through the bullpen and you get to the back end where Bedard and Whitlock, and like we said earlier, and then Mason Miller at the end. Bingo, bango, bongo. But it was not without drama. But pitching, like in the NFL, good defense usually beats good offense. Pitching will shut down just about any good offense. And I got news for you. Both rosters are loaded at the plate. And the U.S. is moving on, which will be interesting to see where it goes from here. Dominican Republic's talented, but that pitching staff was on fire last night for the U.S.
Yeah, it'll be a fun final. We'll come back. We'll talk about that. We'll talk, NCAA tournament. We'll keep talking football. Any more moves that we like that from over the weekend. Again, I have to go back and kind of see what all happened in the NFL over the weekend. So we got plenty to talk about. I have some delivery. I don't even know what's going on outside my house. Someone's delivering something. My wife.
Hopefully it's pound cake.
Hopefully it's something. Well, I don't know. It's a guy that's walking up to the door.
Well,
so hopefully not for me. So,
dude, I've listened to Fox News this morning. Just as we end here. And there is a reporter on Steve Garrigan, I think, or however his last name. He's a reporter for He's on the border in Iran, the border right there, the border where a lot of the action is. He's out in the middle of nowhere on the border reporting about the war. And Brian Kilmeade says, and I love Kilmeade, dude. I think he's hilarious. But he says, well, his last question was, hey, well, the new leader, because they don't know Trump, they don't know if the son who took over for Khomeini is dead or not. They think he's injured. Not sure. I haven't seen him. He hasn't made an appearance since he's been. I don't even know if elected is right. Since he's been appointed. Right. That guy. Leader. And Kilmeade looks at him and says, because you know how they treat women and that type, that it's not with a lot of respect. And if you put it this way, if you're gay or women, they don't treat you the best there. Right. That's well documented. Kilmeade looks at me and goes, well, the talk is he's gay. Well, how will they treat that? And I'm like, did they just plug in an SNL? Did somebody take a hold of the telephone? Yeah. And I was crying, it's the way he said it. It was like, is he joking? And I'm waiting for the reporter, and I know he caught him off guard. Like, how am I supposed to answer this? Well, they're not fine. Regardless of you, I'm just saying that Iranian leadership. It's not even leadership. It's horrible. This is the way he said it. He goes, well, I don't know. He's you may be gay. How are they going to respond to that? Or however he said it. I'm like, this dude is classic. If I'm the reporter, I'm like, well, maybe he said no to be gay. I don't know. Yeah, maybe he did.
Maybe he said no.
If he said yes, then he'll have to deal with all the nonsense and the way they disrespect women and people that are not of his sexual preference over there. But I can tell you this right now, it was a classic question. Kilmeade we got to get him on one time because he loves sports too. He's priceless.
We should find that video for tomorrow too. I think that'd be a good way.
Oh yeah, just the way, dude. You have to see it.
I'll find it. Yeah,
friggin' priceless. The way he asked it. I'm like, are they joking? When is it? When is it? Hey, that's Saturday Night Live. I'm thinking this has got to be a skit, right?
Right.
Oh, it was priceless, man.
All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. Plenty to talk about. Thanks for watching Unpaved, the flagship show of USC football, Houston Texans coverage. We also need to start talking more about the draft. Is now free agency's over. We'll get into more of that. Get over to YouTube at Unpaved Sean Salisbury. Follow him at Sean Unfiltered, myself at Adam G. Sager. Thanks to Bailey, Laura, all our viewers, listeners, and commenters. We'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Peace.
Unpaved, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.